Down, down, out. What's up, everybody? You are tuned into season 2 of the Elks Call presented by Shotgun Sports. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, aka Do You Even Elks?
And today we have you, the listener or viewer, as our guest for a second week in a row before we head on our bye week for the Elks Call. Ryan Messer, we see you in the herd chat. What is up? And everybody else that is tuning in tonight, once again, you are here with the Elks herd on the Elks Call. Uh, Massive Labor Day sweep, Kathy. First time in 20 years. What did you think of that last game day experience in Commonwealth?
That was fun. That was a lot of fun. It was packed. The tailgate was bumping. It was really busy. There's tons of activities going around, tons of people. It was lots of fun.
Well, and I think that we saw the fireworks return, pyrotechnics, the helmet tunnel return. So there's lots of reason to be thrilled about that last game. And of course, a 37-16 win. So absolutely massive. We will get this show started in just a moment. But first, we'd like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight, whether you're watching on our YouTube, which is Shotgun Sports Network, or Facebook, which would be the Elks Herd, or if you're listening on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Edmonton Sports Talk, or wherever you get your podcast. While we're here, if you could hit the like and subscribe or favorite button, we would greatly appreciate it. All right, today on the Elks Call, we're going to open up with some special announcements about Shotgun Sports Network and the Elks Herd. Then we're going to dig into the Herd Report, talking about the latest Edmonton Elks game, news, and transactions. Following that, we'll give you an Edmonton sports update, and then we're going to cap the show with the fan forum where we discuss hot topics surrounding the Elks, the CFL, and the sports world as a whole. Be sure to blow up the herd chat so you can get your comments and questions onto the show. We already see a question in the herd chat, so that's what it's all about. We definitely want to talk with the fans. Fan-sided podcast, after all. Let's get on to some announcements here. Today's announcements are brought to you by Puck and Pigskin. Puck and Pigskin returns for season 3 now on Shotgun Sports Network, Tuesday, September 17th. Jason Basic will be covering all things Stamps, CFL, Calgary Flames, NHL, XYZ. So all the hockey, all the football. Very, very thrilled to have Jason and Puck and Pigskin on Shotgun Sports Network. So make sure you stay tuned for his show coming soon. We do have a new article up on Shotgun Sports Network on the last game. Those are always a good read. Make sure you go check it out. Tailgate Burger Cook-Off. Kathy, you definitely busted it there with me for the 45 minutes we had to get the burger up. So we got around third place. Shout out to Grey Cup Fun Police Officer Jeff for scoring us pretty high. I did see the score sheets, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was cool to see the Edmonton Elks put on one of those events because we have our second annual tailgate chili cook-off coming up here pretty quick. So let's give you some details on that. We have the full rundown here. Our second annual chili cook-off presented by the Elks Herd, the Turf District, Edmonton Sports Talk, and You Need a Barbecue. So happening on October 5th, this will be bigger and better than last year's chili cook-off. We have our judges almost selected. Officer Jeff may be one of the judges for the chili cook-off. We also know that Ginger Argo is potentially flying in for this one. So we have our judges rounded out. We have entries flying in. You got some entries over on the email, right?
I have, yes. So
perfect. So admin at Shotgun Sports Network, obviously, if you are entering, but make sure you head on down to stall 182 to vote. And that's going to be October 5th. Don't forget, October 5th in Lot B down at Commonwealth Stadium before the game. Alrighty. Oh yeah, and also there is going to be five vegan or vegetarian chilies. There's going to be spots for that, and then there's going to be 25 spots for traditional chili. So can't forget about that. 30 contestants this year, which is pretty cool. One of the biggest announcements we have here, the Elks Call has been nominated for an Esty. So EST has their annual awards. This is huge down at the Metro Cinema. We have been nominated for an award, an Esty. So in the class of best friend of EST. So Guy Flaming's Pipeline Show is up there, which is huge. He's on 20 seasons. So I don't see us beating Guy Flaming, I will say. But there's Guy Flaming with the Pipeline Show, MCTV, which is Mark Majot. That's going to be his podcast. And then who is the other one? It's one more. I forget, but it is a Final Four. So we made it to the Final Four. Very, very cool. Very thrilled. Can't wait. Can't wait for the Esties. We're going to be going down and seeing if we get the prestigious award. And then final announcement. We will be giving away a tailgate pass and 2 tickets
Oh, wow.
to the next Edmonton Elks game.
Big giveaway.
Huge giveaway package. We're not going to do code barbecue this time. Text tailgate. I'm going to make it easy. Text tailgate to 780-307-7779 and we will enter you into the draw. Now, because we're going on a bye week, because the Elks are on a bye week, we're gonna give everybody about a week for this one.
Yeah, it makes sense. Give more people the chance.
Well, exactly. So we're gonna give everybody the week on this one. We'll be accepting texts all week, and we will let you know days in advance if you are going to the game against Winnipeg on September 21st. Remember, this is for September 21st. So text tailgate to 780-307-7779 and we will enter you into the draw. Alrighty. That's it for announcements. We have a herd report where Kathy brings you the latest game, Edmonton Elks game recap, news, and transactions. The herd report is brought to you by the Forge Podcast. Experience the latest in Birmingham sports with Ryan Messer as he gives you the latest news and updates. Find the Forge every week on Shotgun Sports Network. Forge on. Kathy, you got a herd report.
I do. Yeah, let's talk about that game. On September 7th, the Edmonton Elks completed a Labor Day sweep for the first time since 2004. 20 years in the making. Crazy. Final score of 37-16. Your prediction was 28-10 last week, so I mean, I'll take that.
Well, we did better than the prediction. I don't know if we can actually say that we have done better than the prediction. Crazy game. I know you're going to talk about it here in just a moment, but there was confidence. There's a reason why I went for that prediction. You base, what the next game is going to look like based on the last game. So that last game against Calgary, we looked dominant, and I wanted to see the defense do better. And guess what? They actually did, because that one touchdown, they would have had 9 if it wasn't for the MBT pick 6, which you're about to talk about. So,
yep, that the game itself, it was a bit of a slow start. The Elks had to punt away the ball pretty much as soon as they started, and as well as Calgary getting a field goal very early in the game, really on the answering drive. But at least that punt and the one on our following drive gave us 2 single points.
Yes.
So, hey, we'll always take points on the board, even if that's 2 rouges. So, there were also really great moments during this quarter. Purifoy had an interception at the Edmonton 10.
Yep.
And that shut down a drive that could have ended really, really badly for us. They were really close. They were our end zone pretty much. And of course, the great rushes by Kevin Brown at the end of the quarter that set up the Elks for a very explosive second quarter. one of those rushes was 21 yards. So I know Kevin Brown had himself a really good game here.
Well, and in that first quarter, I think the game could have gotten away from the Elks.
It could have. It was a slow start. It was not a very high score. I mean, we only ended up with two. They only had a
Yeah.
field goal, so it was a very low scoring game. It felt slow. It felt like we weren't sure exactly how that was going to go. It could have gone either way. But then after that last drive, it really picked up. That second quarter, it was, as I mentioned, very explosive.
Yeah.
Kevin Brown set it up very nicely. And the next pass turned into a Hergimayala touchdown for 60 yards. So, a crazy touchdown. It was a really good one to
It
see.
was good because he whipped his body around.
Mhm.
He caught it and then whipped his body around with momentum to
Yeah.
go up the sideline and run it in. It was a
Yeah.
huge touchdown.
It was. And of course, it only got better with a 2-point conversion by Gina Lewis. So
Yes.
that was good.
And that was a flex. You really wanted to see like a quick flex, like
Yeah.
we're better than you. We're going to show you that we can stunt on you. We're going to grab that's 2 points now.
Well, it was so early in the game too. Right?
Exactly.
It was low scoring, not a lot going on, and then suddenly it's like, hey, look what we can do.
Well, and you didn't want to give Calgary any momentum, and you wanted to put the
Mhm.
wind in your sails, which is what the Edmonton Elks
Totally.
did in that second.
And I mean, you never know, right? Sometimes it all comes down to the extra point,
Yep.
whether you have it or not. So that was good. That was really good to see. I think it really, gave the Elks some momentum. It
Yep.
really turned things around and, things picked up. It was on the following drive that MBT passed a short series of successful rushes that brought Tevin Jones close enough to rush in himself for another touchdown. So once again, Tevin Jones had himself a really good game.
And it was good to see that play as well, right? That reverse handoff,
Mhm.
sweep up the side. Once again, I think pretty much the same side.
Yeah. Yeah, and we
Tevin
don't,
Jones.
for a lot of the handoffs, we see that they're pretty standard, sometimes very repetitive and
Yep.
even, that they're going to happen with MBT. They're predictable. So that one was one of those plays that wasn't necessarily so predictable. It was a really nice play.
But how crazy is it to see Jarius Jackson make these calls, invigorate the playbook? It looks like they're doing installs, they're doing
Mhm.
installations, they're adding different plays, they're mixing it up.
And
Which
that's good.
but we had not seen that for so many years under
Well,
Chris Jones.
Not at all. I think he was married to that playbook and he just absolutely refused to make any changes. And that's going back to 2015.
Well,
So,
and I wish I would have put it in the show, but there was a good interview recently, and I forget exactly who it was, but they had explained how little prep Chris Jones did when it comes to, let's say, even just practice on a daily basis.
really.
Where I want to say it was Jed Roberts or somebody along those lines, but an alumni was speaking up on it, and obviously things leak out of the locker room.
Mhm.
Things don't get said when Chris Jones is obviously employed because you're going to cause a lot of issues and media doesn't do that. But this is, with the installs and reinvigorating the playbook and doing some of those changes that are necessary in order to survive a whole season.
Of course.
You saw the lack of that
Well,
with Chris Jones.
and I feel like you absolutely have to. I mean, I'm not saying that MBT is a bad quarterback by no means, far away from that. But he's also, we've said it before, he's predictable. So you have to work with his play style and what he's comfortable
Yep.
with and change it up a little bit so that the opposing team doesn't know what's coming.
Well, and with also fielding basically 6 O-line.
Mhm.
Right now they're fielding 6 O-line without the fullback in there.
Mhm.
And you have 3 running backs with different play styles.
Yeah.
So that's also how they've kept the ball rolling, and especially with MBT back there.
No, for sure.
You
100%.
need a running game. It's
Mhm.
Trey Ford opens up the field with his legs.
Mhm.
MBT can't quite do that. But what if you mix it up with your running backs that have the different styles? Look at that sweet play, right?
Totally.
That
And
you just talked about.
we have some really good running backs. We have a really good receiving core.
Yeah.
Like, just utilize your pieces and be, not predictable.
Be unpredictable. Exactly. Yeah.
Right, but yeah, no, that was a really fun one to see. We, of course, right after that, we got the extra point for Beatty. And even though that was directly followed by a sack, MBT once again brought us close enough to the end zone for Beatty once again to successfully kick a field goal
At the 41.
at the 41.
Crazy.
He had himself a good game. And I hate that. I hate saying that because there can be one week that we're like, oh, Boris Beatty had a great game, and then the next game he sucks.
But maybe he finds the consistency now that he's been pulled for a game.
Yeah, maybe that's what he needed. Maybe he just needed a little push that really made him think about his position, because the reality is that we do have a backup. We do have, somebody else that can step in, faithful. And now, like we said at the beginning of the season, or even in the middle of the season, with everything that's going on, is that players now are playing for their position. They
Exactly.
really are.
Yep.
So good on Beatty for having a really good game. I think he ended up kicking every single one of his
He
field
did.
goals.
I think he was
He
100%.
didn't miss a single one.
Yep.
So good for him. Now he just has to repeat that and bring it back to the next game.
Oh, totally. And I also like what Steve Benassi says here in the herd chat. MBT always seems to take 8 to 10 minutes to get his motor going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a drive or 2 or 3. That's very evident, right? The teams were going back and forth in the first quarter, and then we ran away with it in the second.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen a very explosive first quarter. It's always like, oh, they're warming up, they're getting, they're getting used to it, they're getting there, they're getting warmed up, and then things start to happen. So,
but in this game, after that Boris Beatty field goal, then Nick Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
What about Nick Anderson?
He came in and intercepted another one of Bonner's passes. He set us up to finish the first half of the game with another field goal and of course by Beatty, and a 17-point lead
going into the half.
Going into the second half. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I think the building was feeling really good at that point.
Of course. I think did anybody notice that we had another 0 score in the third quarter? I kind of didn't.
I didn't even realize that we had 0 points in the third.
We had 0 points.
So that returned, but we also didn't let up anything either.
No. I mean, we didn't notice that because we had a really, really good lead, I think. Everybody kind of takes a chance to breathe.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad third quarter. They were just not able to close a lot of the plays that happened.
Yeah.
Right after the kickoff, Kai Gray had an interception. It was at the Edmonton 9, however, so there was still a ways away, right?
Yeah.
There was still a ways to kind of get back on the field. The defense did their thing, though, and they held Calgary to a single field goal as well, so it could have been a lot worse.
So we let in 3, got 0.
Yeah.
We had the 17 points, so sure, you almost maybe thought that they may creep back into it, right?
Yep. Yeah, and we did have a procedure penalty in there that also didn't help,
Right.
of course. But by the end of the third, we also they set themselves up again.
Right.
They had 4 first downs, and MBT took us down to Calgary's 19 by the end of that third, going into the fourth. So it was another really good quarter. Really, it was a really good setup. Because right after, as soon as the fourth started with that really good setup, a really good series of first downs, MBT passes to Gino Lewis, who runs it in for another touchdown.
A touchdown and a square dance.
Yeah.
Gino Lewis square dance. Iconic. Iconic against the Calgary Stampeders. And you're smoking them, so you're feeling good.
All the Sallys make me laugh. They're so silly, but they're so good. I know one of our friends' kids had a sign that said "Gone Fishing" because of their laughs, making fun of their Sally. So that was good. But yeah, the convert kick was good after that, and we certainly started feeling the excitement of the crowd at that point. Everybody was so loud. It was a loud crowd.
That was the loudest I've heard the building in a long time since they broke the losing streak last year, the home losing streak.
Yeah.
That crowd was crazy.
It was good. It was good. And, I was going to say that I was glad that Calgary at least got one touchdown in, but we
Nah,
don't do that.
ABC.
And that one was on us, really. MBT pass was intercepted, and Rose was able to return it for 83 yards. So
Pick 6.
we definitely should have done something about that.
Well, and then MBT also took a really bad hit to the chest on that one.
Yes.
Got the wind knocked out of him. Was feeling it. Got hit on that intercept.
Yeah.
So
we still haven't gotten any information as to how bad it is. They're
They
saying
said-
they're saying that he'll be fine.
yeah, that's exactly correct.
That
Yes, that's the words.
He'll be fine.
He's fine. He'll be
So
fine.
we don't know if, we are on a bye week, so there's still a little bit of time. But Trey Ford definitely came in right after that.
And
he might have
didn't look the best in his outing.
that first drive with Trey Ford, I feel like it was the same thing. He needed a little bit of warm up. He needed
Yeah.
a drive or two to get the feel for it and get back into the game. But with 2 minutes and 44 seconds left on the clock, Trey Ford set it up again for a rush down the middle by Justin Rankin, and he ran it in for a touchdown. So good for
Game
him.
over.
BD closed the drive with a good convert kick, and Devondre Bynum, did I say it right
Yeah,
this
you
time?
got it.
Bynum,
Yep.
he closed the game by shutting down Calgary in the last 2 drives with 2 interceptions. Crazy.
Beautiful.
Like, not today, Calgary, not today.
That game was like a movie. I went back and watched it. I'm not gonna lie. The Labor Day rematch and I have a really good history. And get a little bit indulged there when it comes to the beverages and cheering and everything else. So, yeah, I had to go back and watch the rest of it, especially too. The Larry Thompson driving into the Calgary Stampeders bench moment.
We do have John that asks here, what do you think about Calgary driving into the Calgary?
Larry driving into the Calgary bench? Iconic. It was iconic. I don't think, and that's Larry Thompson's first. That's his very first home game as well. We need to remember the guy has never had a home game.
Well, he's been a fan. He's been a fan, so he's been there. But as owner, I think, I think he was like a kid. That was his kid game.
Swerve.
That was like when you take a kid to their first game, they're super excited and they want everything happening. He made it happen for himself.
Yep.
He made the fireworks happen. And I'm going to say for himself, obviously he listened to the fans, but also as a fan, that has seen everything that we have seen. And now suddenly he's in control and with the power. He was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this.
Yep.
And he just drove right through there.
Well, and I guess there was cheerleaders there or the Outrider crew, whatever they call them. I guess the Calgary crew was there, and he made a choice. And he was not disrupting. If he's going to disrupt somebody, he's going to disrupt the team. He's probably going to see a fine for it, and he's going to pay the fine because that's going to be the best money he's ever spent.
Listen, it's probably one of his, core memories at this point. Top memories.
Well, first win at home as an owner. When Chris Jones went winless for how long as GM and head coach? Let's be real. I'm not trying to lambaste the guy. He's still in the league, right? But I will say that Larry Thompson did something to make the city proud, to make the players proud. You see players tweeting immediately after. That's my owner. That's the owner of this team. That's the guy I work for. That's the guy who signs my checks, right?
I'm not gonna lie, and I heard the news before I actually watched the video. So when I heard that he drove through the bench, I was actually picturing him like crashing into things and just making a big havoc. And I was hoping that was gonna happen. But yeah, it's
Steve
Steve Benazzi here on the chat. Larry T had the most impressive drive of the game.
we gotta do like message of the show. Like that is fantastic.
He
Steve.
Sure did.
Money in the bank. And then Steve also said 6 interceptions in one game was a record.
Yes, definitely. The Elks themselves had 5 interceptions. Calgary had 1.
Right.
2 of those by Bynum.
Yeah.
But that's still crazy.
Wasn't 2 by Nick Anderson as well?
I think he only had 1.
He only had 1 in this game? he's been on fire.
Yeah.
Like Nick Anderson, he's also filling in for somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, how about we talk about the best players in this game,
Yeah.
which is almost all of them.
I mean, let's talk about the good because there was a lot of good. Themselves, the Elks had 213 yards on 29 carries. Kevin Brown, he led the way in this game with 91 yards and 12 rushes.
That's crazy.
So once again, he had himself a really good game,
Yep.
right? And I mean, with all the with everybody else in there, that is once again fighting for a job if it's not until the end of the season, but for next season.
Yes.
You definitely want to see some of these numbers. Of course, Gino. Gino had. I feel like Gino has had some really good plays, but not like crazy impressive, on a roll plays. But at the same time, I feel that if it hadn't been for some of those Gino plays, we wouldn't be where we are.
Oh, he played lights out in this game.
Oh, for sure.
He was open. What if there was a drop? Might have been one, and even then, right? I don't recall seeing it. And it's a group effort. Like you take a look at, let's say, Tevin Jones and Gino, right? They both contributed in a major way. Same deal with Hergy Mayala. He's in an honorable mentions, I would say.
Yeah. No, he would be.
But yeah, I mean, like even some of the players I have listed here, Luchez Purifoy. You can't forget about Luchez Purifoy doing his thing at safety. He played a great game. Noah Curtis played a great game. Oh, there must be a fly in here. Noah Curtis had himself a game, and Noah Curtis has been playing lights out with Mondo at D-line coach. So Mondo at D-line coach has been doing a great job with that D-line.
Yeah, I think
Sean
so.
Oakman, honorable mention, Sean Oakman. But Noah Curtis has been stealing the show out there.
Yeah.
And then what about special teams? Jake Julian, he got some rouges, and he also pinned the ball. I want to say at least once.
Yeah.
Luna, can you please not ruin the set, girl? And then, yeah, I mean, MBT had himself a game too, and I think that's the thing. Like MBT having a good game, it's not like he played anything that was crazy.
No.
Or out of typical MBT play. Yeah. It's not like he had an aerial assault.
No.
But he did in critical moments. He did.
I agree.
Really
I
good.
feel like we can't complain. We can't complain about MBT and his performance in this game. Same thing last game, right? Yep. He did fantastic last game too. So it's like there's really not much to say. I mean, obviously, there's the little things that we obviously see that it makes for a really good case for Trey Ford coming back, which we will talk about.
We are going to talk about in the fan forum today the Trey for the quarterback controversy in Edmonton.
At the same time, it's just that like I personally couldn't fault MBT all that much for a lot of the things that happened in this game.
No, this game, like I mean, like you said, right, hiccups. But he played a complete game. We played not as complimentary as the last Calgary game, I would say. I don't think the football was as complimentary, but they still played cohesive. Everybody did their job in their phases.
In so many ways, I feel like this game was safer.
Yes.
Right? I think at some point you turn around to me and you said, this is boring. But because we had such a large lead and it was, it was safe. It was a safe game, it felt. Like there wasn't any crazy passes. There wasn't any crazy rushes. There wasn't like we saw a couple, but it wasn't
good rushes, but
it wasn't like the last game.
No, where you think it's going down to the last minute, right? Where we thought maybe we were going that way in the first Calgary game.
The nerves and the stress that makes it more exciting, of course. At this point, we were calm and we were confident, and we're like, we got it. Well, the second,
exactly, and it's interesting because as you walked into the building, we were confident. My prediction, I stuck by it. Somebody came up to me in the tailgate and they said, "Okay, so what's your prediction?" I'm like, 10 to 28 or whatever, right? And they're like, "Oh, pretty confident there, hey?" I'm like, "Come on, we're gonna get the win," and that's the first time I felt like that in 5 to 6 years. That double E pride, right? You're like, no, we're gonna get the win, and we have not been able to do that as a fan base for so long.
Yeah. That was good.
quickly getting back to it here. Honorable mentions as top performers here. Kai Gray, had he
Mhm.
not gotten that penalty, I think that could have been he might have been in the top performers. And the entire O line,
Mhm.
which technically I think that we have to move them up into the top performers because they ended up
Right.
getting on the honor roll.
Yeah.
So PFF's honor roll. So huge, huge.
Mm.
Nice. I see Jamie Fadoon here in the herd chat. Jamie, we're gonna leave this comment, this question for the fan forum. So I have a feeling we're gonna do a little bit of scrolling with some of these questions. We
Mhm.
also see a couple more in here. John, we do see your questions, so we're gonna get to those questions
Yeah.
in the herd chat. But we still got a little bit more herd report to go.
Yeah, actually, there's not much. There was no transactions. And in terms of injuries, the injury report is not out yet. Keep an eye on the Elks website to find out. I'm pretty sure you will see it on social media as well. The team is on a bye week, so you might not see any updates until next week when they go back to training, really. So just keep an eye. Haven't really heard anything. But what's next? Edmonton versus Winnipeg. We did have a comment here by Corey Russell. Then the next game will be tough against the Bombers. Before we talk a little bit about the game, let's bring up John's question. What do you think the attendance will be on the 21st?
I'll predict like a 25K.
Yeah.
I wish we would see another 32K because that was just
Mhm.
an electric atmosphere. Like I
It
said,
was.
for me, that might have been like the best game since the
Mhm.
2015 Western Final. So I don't think we're going to see a 32K,
Mhm.
but you're hoping for 25 to 28K attendance. I'll say that is reasonable expectations. We still have to remember the
Yeah.
team is not all the way back. We're sitting at 5-8.
Yeah.
The team
Yeah.
is not all the way back. Once you make it to that 8-8, once you get 8 wins, and maybe if you hit 500, you can officially say they're all the way back. Or if you make it to playoffs, because at this rate, we don't know how the West is going to go. It might come down to the wire.
Yeah.
But I mean, Campus Clash.
My hope is that the word is out for the youngins. You know,
Well, that's why Campus Clash is at
well,
such a good time.
and that's what I mean. I hope that the word is out that, everything was a really good time.
Yeah.
Last game that everybody will decide to come.
I agree.
All these. I mean, it's what do we have? So it's on Saturday 21st at 5 p.m. $6 beers, $3 hot dogs. Just as John says here, it's $15
Yes.
tickets for students and a chance to win a trip to Amsterdam for the 2025 Formula One Heineken Dutch Grand Prix.
Remember, it's during. So you had to read the fine print on the Campus Clash section on the website or
Yeah.
the ads that the Edmonton Elks have been doing. You can win a trip to Amsterdam during the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
So you don't get the tickets for the Grand Prix, but we'll give you the tickets to go out to Amsterdam. So that's how that's working.
Oh.
Yes, I had to read the fine print. Which
either way, it's like I'll take it.
You can do a lot of fun things in Amsterdam.
Jesus Christ, can I? Well, I'm not a student anymore. Can I go and be a student?
See, that's what I was saying.
It's
You can do a lot of fun things in Amsterdam.
I've never been, and I really want to. So hey, and I'm pretty sure all these, university kiddos. I say kiddos. Holy, I feel old. Why did I do that to myself? All these university people will really take it up. They would all love to go to Amsterdam.
Totally.
Sure.
Well, and hey, you know what? Great note here by John. Sorry, Scout, but the hot dogs, you have to have a university ID to get the $3 hot dog and the $6 beer. I ate a hot dog at the last game. I like it's gonna be a tradition now. We're gonna get 1 or 2 beers and hot dogs inside of Commonwealth Stadium.
Well, this is what's going to happen. If you are not a student, you go find yourself a student friend and you give them $6 to get you a beer. That's what's going to happen.
I'll go get my Nate alumni card and see if I can quickly swipe that in there.
Does University of Alberta alumni cards work? No, I don't think so.
It's only one way to try. The Edmonton Elks are currently investigating the Elks herd. No,
Listen, all I'm saying is make friends. Make friends at the next game. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. And the Campus Clash was actually very, very successful last year. Very, very successful. I mean, let's
There
pick.
were actually there were a lot of people that did not know football, which was
Yes,
amusing. And it
yes,
was still good
it was
because
still
by the
good.
end of the day, by the end of that game, they walked away having a really good time and hopefully being more interested about football.
Yes, hopefully, and they should also be checking out their local teams, such as the U of A Golden Bears,
Yeah.
who unfortunately took a bad loss.
Oof.
But getting
Okay.
back to this game versus Winnipeg here, this is big. This is a very, very big
Mhm.
game. This is the next big game of the season.
I think this is going to set the stage. This is going to set the
This
tone.
is.
This is going to set the tone for the next little bit. If we can somehow manage to beat Winnipeg,
Yeah.
I think there is no doubts that we can make it all the way.
What?
It can set. We've talked about this. It's all about momentum,
This is
right? It's
the turning
momentum.
point of the season. This is the turning point of the season right
We
here.
have momentum. If they can continue with it, their confidence is up.
Yep.
There is a chance. But this game is going to be, I think, a big deciding factor on that.
Oh, this game is everything. And especially the home game too, because if you win
Mhm.
this home game and you blow out the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, you have the opportunity to get the tiebreak.
Mhm.
Right? And now Trey Ford is coming in at a time when Winnipeg has a lot of MBT film
Mhm.
in the current setup. So there is a chance that Edmonton can catch Winnipeg. They can catch them off guard. They can mix things up. And the bye week also allows Jarius Jackson to work on that playbook. Let's do some installs. Let's do some trick plays. And especially when the team is rolling like this now that they've mastered the current playbook and they're all on the same page when it comes to the playbook, now you can get fun. Now you can have some fun.
Mhm.
Now you can make it interesting. Now you can do some things, right? You can do some good tweaks and the team will be receptive.
Well, yeah.
It's
At this point, it's funny because we're in that we've got nothing to lose position. We can go all out.
yes and no. I mean, already they have won more games
Mhm.
in this one season than any of the other ones.
Yeah,
Like, I
but
mean,
that's what I mean. No, that's what I mean. I mean, we've got nothing to lose. That they should be too worried about being conservative. That they can allow themselves to be inventive, to be kind of
totally. I'm just
bring
hoping
that.
that, like, this Winnipeg game, they may have to be conservative, but get tricky when you have to.
Yeah.
Mix it up when you need to. Obviously, when Winnipeg is when Tyrell Ford, and I'm worried about Tyrell Ford. That's who I'm worried about on the other team because
Mhm.
Tyrell Ford is having himself one heck of a year.
Mhm.
He's picking off all the balls.
Well, they started slow too, so I mean, there's always a chance that they might get back to that.
But both Winnipeg and the Elks are on a similar trajectory.
Yeah.
So it's very, very interesting. This is going to be a huge series. Can't wait until next week. The Battle of the Ford Brothers. It's going to be good. Exactly. Jamie Fadoon here in the herd chat. He knows exactly what we're talking
Battle
about.
of the Ford.
It is Trey Ford, the Battle of the Twins, right?
it I had no idea that Trey Ford had a twin until like later in the season when you showed me a picture
Yeah.
like a few months ago, and I'm
Yeah.
like, why is Trey Ford wearing Winnipeg colors? Like, what's happening? Turns out that hey, he's got a twin.
Wishbone, Chris. Hey, Chris, in the herd chat. So speaking of this Winnipeg game, before we move on to our Edmonton sports update, holy cow, this might actually be a shorter show today.
Mhm.
Wild. We do have this giveaway. So we're giving
Mhm.
everybody the week to get your entries in exclusively here on the Elks Call. Text tailgate to 780-307-7779 and enter yourself into this draw for 2 tickets to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers game on September 21st.
So that's 2 tickets and a tailgate
And a tailgate pass.
So
Which is a tailgate pass you can't just simply buy. This is what's funny about this. I mean, maybe if somebody randomly, and you're talking about one of 200 on game day, when Commonwealth in the lower bowl right now fits 32,500 or whatever.
Mhm.
So get in on this contest. Tell your friends.
Yeah.
Get as many people onto the Elks Call as possible to enter for this, and we will be giving it away before the game.
Yeah.
So,
We'll
very,
give
very
it.
exciting.
We'll give it a week.
We'll give it a week. We're going to give it away in just over a week.
Yeah.
Like a week and one sleep.
Yeah, we
Steve
have
Benassi.
Steve Benassi over here won last week's tailgate pass, and he had a lot of fun.
It was really cool seeing
yeah.
Steve Benassi in the tailgating beside us. Now, Steve, unfortunately, here's the thing. So Steve's been in the tailgate for a very long time, and unfortunately, Steve doesn't get all the updates on the tailgate rules and everything else. Obviously, he knows the basics and he gets the gist of it, but the 3-hour mark, Steve missed that the tailgate starts 3 hours before the game.
I mean, it's not necessary. They have a cutoff at the hour mark that they won't let you go in.
Yeah, it's not like you were too late.
But hey, Steve, let us know how difficult it was to park even when you came in 2 hours before. Everybody gets there on time, and everybody, yeah, there's not a lot of space in that parking lot, unfortunately. The other parking lot had a little bit more space, I think, for everybody to drive through. Right now, there are some areas that if you don't get there 3 hours before, you're just not getting in. You're not getting in there. Like, there's some areas like where the Cordies are that it's packed in that little corner that if you don't get there 3 hours before, there's just no way.
Well, it's crazy. Even with people trying to park all at once, like it's almost like watching, the synchronized excavator.
Yeah.
The synchronized excavator videos. It's like watching that with all the cars going into the parking spots all at once, right? Yeah. Everybody's just filing in and trying to grab their spots as quick as possible, because if you don't, it is a tough time getting in there.
But hey, 3 hours, sometimes it doesn't even feel like enough, right? Because there's so many things. I mean, you're bringing your friends, you're bringing, you have your neighbors, you're walking around. There's so many activities. There's music, there's food, there's drinks. Like, seriously, sometimes I feel like, if it's a very stressful game that you're walking into, the tailgate is even more fun than the game. So
totally. No, and we've been there for multiple years now, enjoying the tailgate. Yeah. I just shared the picture of the Briar. So when the Briar made an appearance and Team Canada flops it down, which it's cool. It was Team Canada.
We might see it again at some point this year, maybe.
Well, you might. We haven't seen the Grey Cup yet.
No.
Right? Have we?
We haven't. No.
So we haven't seen the Grey Cup yet.
No,
so
they'll bring it in.
They will. They will. And then
now the Elks have a tailgate spot. It might be there.
So the Edmonton Elks also now have a tailgate spot called Tailgate Central, where you can smash trucks.
And that might have been last week's only, though. I'm not sure if that's going to be a continued.
We'll see. I would say for playoffs, you would see it return. So we may see it in playoffs, and you're going to see it at the Labor Day rematch, most likely, possibly next year, right? It was cool to see that, though.
Yeah.
It was cool to see that. It was cool to see the inflatable tunnel return.
I also heard from, was it Michelle, that the donation truck that they had for Goodwill, that they did very, very, very well.
Perfect.
So
we should have went to the Goodwill after to thrift,
Well, I had to thrift.
No, I'm just kidding.
Right in there. Can I just see what you have here?
Hey, do you got any Elk stuff? Do you got any Double E stuff? Come on, buddy. What are you doing? No, it was that game was a movie. As a fan, that game was a movie. Absolutely wild. Yeah, I mean, even just seeing fireworks on touchdowns again. Like, seriously, getting.
We're going to talk about that in the fan forum, right?
We will. We're going to touch on it, but we're mostly focused on the team in that question. Right. So I figured I would bring it up now. Like, Herd Chat, let us know what you think. What was your favorite part of the Labor Day rematch?
Yeah.
Herd Chat, let us know your favorite part of the Labor Day rematch, and what did you miss? I think that's the better question. Did you miss this stuff? Because I can tell you I missed this stuff. I missed the fireworks. I missed the tunnel. Okay. I missed all of these things, right? Obviously, I missed winning on Labor Day. Or on Labor Day rematch, sorry, at the Labor Day rematch.
Right.
Also missed winning on Labor Day as well. But as far as stadium experience, as far as stadium feel, what did you miss? Did you guys miss any of this stuff? Because I know I missed everything, and I also liked some of the stuff that they introduced. And like I said, we will touch on it a little bit more in the fan forum, which is right around the corner, really.
Yeah.
But it was great. Miss No Jet Flyover. The rest was great.
Did they have the helicopters?
So we saw the helicopters around Northside, the military helicopters.
Maybe they were just looking for somebody.
Well, no,
Northside represent.
Northside, hard as F, yeah.
We're here with military flyover. It's just,
I swear I didn't post anything bad on the Gong Show. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Yeah, no, it was just absolutely incredible. Yeah, and I mean the jet flyover, I think that's the only thing you're really missing on that Labor Day rematch. Yeah. Thank you very much, Steve.
But we do have the military appreciation dates, and that's usually where we have the flyover.
Yeah, right? And I don't think we've done that yet, have we?
I thought we did.
Or maybe we did. Did we? Oh, we had a jet flyover for that.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Excuse me. Yep. No, we had a jet
choppers flyover during the tailgate, so it wasn't just the north side looking for north side stuff.
Oh, I like this by Chris Agar. Simply put, I missed I missed feeling the roar of the crowd. Mm-hmm. It was great to be a part of. Been way too long. Yes, it has been way too long. And
a question for you guys. Do you think with the amount of people that we had, what was it, 32,000 and something, if the upper bowl had been open, do you think it would have been the same?
This is good. This is like pre-fan forum. I'm loving this. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say if you have the upper bowl, because the upper bowl, with it being open, even tarped off, and I can speak to this from years past. Let's say 2019. Let's compare 2019, right? 2019 Labor Day rematch, let's say. It's loud. It's not like that. When you're shoulder to shoulder with your people, which is what that was. Even my dad came down from Fort McMurray.
Yeah, and he had the best game that he's had in a long time.
He said it was the best 24 hours. That's the best game he's ever been to. And he's been to the Labor Day rematch.
Yeah.
My dad has been to the Labor Day rematch just 6 years ago. So 2018.
Yeah.
2018, the year of the Grey Cup. So he said that was the best game he's ever been to. He did take some pretty funny pictures of me eating hot dogs, some funny videos, sorry, and then of course cheering on touchdowns. And you can see in those videos, how crazy that crowd is.
A sea of people, just packed and full, and everybody's cheering. And how fun was that?
It was the best. Like I said, it was like a movie, and then on top of that, to have the Edmonton Elks spanked the Calgary Stampeders on a Labor Day rematch. It's a sweep. There's so much meaning. And this is the most meaningful game ever under the Edmonton Elks name. So props to all of the fans that have stuck around for these many, many years, still buying season tickets, not knowing if you're going to get a home win.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Double E fans. We're not all the way back, but I'm telling you right now, we're back. And 20 years since the last sweep, 2004. I don't know why I get 4s and 2s mixed up.
Well, I'm a little dyslexic, so
no, but I mess it up all the time on that one. 2002 to 2004. I'm like, it's one of the two. No, it's 2004 was the last time that this sweep occurred.
Been a long time.
And you know what? Even the alumni pay attention as well, right? The alumni actually care about what happens with this team. So when the alumni are watching this team consistently lose, even if it's a competitive game, consistently losing these games, it and especially on Labor Day as well. Even Brett Michaels was watching the Labor Day Classic, I believe, and he might have caught the rematch too.
Maybe he did.
Maybe he caught the rematch too, because they're playing it a heck of a lot more down there in the States on CBS. And you know what? I think we might have even had, I'd have to check the ratings. We might have did better on our ratings for our game than the Winnipeg Banjo Bowl against Saskatchewan.
That's cool.
Because they switched it over to CTV and nobody knew that it was on CTV.
That's right. Yeah. Well,
Uh,
you know what? All I gotta say, just to close this off, is that I hope that the Elks get their Cinderella story this year. I really do.
the Elks deserve it.
Yeah. But we'll see. Next game, we already talked about it, Winnipeg. But for now, let's do an Edmonton sports update.
Look at you trying to do the
I'm
Edmonton
sorry,
sports update.
I took over your job. I'm sorry.
Today's sports update is brought to you by Herties. While the Elks drum up wins inside of the stadium, we're drumming up the meats outside. Check out Herties pop-up in Lot B on game day, stall 182 for some delicious smokehouse barbecue chicken drumsticks, glazed with some Yonita's smoky spirit sauce from the park's Unita Barbecue. Herties, we smoke the meats. Your Edmonton Elks are currently 5-8 with 5 wins in their last 6 games. The Elks are on the bye before defending home turf against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Catch the action at Commonwealth Stadium on September 21st. Kickoff is at 5 p.m. Mountain. The Edmonton Oilers have begun captain skates at Rogers Place, with rookie camp starting today with medicals. The Oilers rookies are headed to the Young Stars tournament this weekend in Penticton. Your Edmonton Oil Kings continue their preseason this weekend. On Saturday, the Oil Kings host the Red Deer Rebels in Morinville, and then they travel to the Siksika Sportsplex to face the Calgary Hitmen on Sunday. Both games are at 4 p.m. Mountain. In the BCHL, the Sherwood Park Crusaders are in preseason rivalry mode, facing the Spruce Grove Saints for a home-and-home series starting on Friday in the Grove at 7 p.m. The Crew defends Randy Rosen Rink on Sunday at 7:15 p.m. Mountain. The Sherwood Park Crusaders are always looking for game day volunteers. Contact Len Nunes or Derek Yeomans at the Sherwood Park Crusaders to join the crew today, or visit their website directly, spcrusaders.com. And for more on the Edmonton sports scene, check out our weekly sports articles on shotgunsportsnetwork.ca and our other great shows on the network on our YouTube, which is Shotgun Sports Network. For the Elks, you're up to date. And then we have our little commercial break here. We'd like to thank you for supporting the network by shopping on our affiliated links, which can be found in the description below. We're a self-funded media company here at Shotgun Sports Network, so we thank you for shopping with Shotgun. Your support means a lot. Best part about this, these are brands that we love, which, let's talk about Royal Retros. All caps, no spaces. They just came out with a new Canada jersey, the Indigenous Canada jersey,
Really?
Football Canada.
Oh, nice.
So guys, Football Canada is partnered with Royal Retros to give you their exclusive jerseys. So the only place that you can get authentic Football Canada jerseys, it's Royal Retros. Go check them out.
Yeah.
All caps, no spaces. Save yourself 10% off over at Royal Retros. They are the throwback kings. If you're looking for a throwback CFL jersey, it's at Royal Retros. All of them. Go check them out. Check them out. I'm voice cracking. I'm so excited. Fanatics. Everybody knows Fanatics. They always got a sale. If you're going to shop on Fanatics, go hit our link down below and get us that hit. And then we actually, you know what? We do have some news here. We have some news. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sandalwood Bourbon Deodorant is almost done. Sandalwood Bourbon Deodorant is almost done. You can squeeze 2 to 3 months out of one of these deodorants. I'm telling you. They're expensive, but they're worth it. You save the money in the long run. Oh, and we got more cost savings for you. Go check out Lather, LTHR, Lather without the E.com.
Mm-hmm.
And when you make your order, use code ShotgunSports20, all caps, no spaces, to save 20% off over at Lather. 20%. Make a big order. Get her done. But go support Canadian handmade soap and products, grooming products. It's all over at lather.com.
They have rustic pumpkin.
Rustic pumpkin is the new fall scent.
Okay, if you want to smell like a basic what? I won't say it.
Clean that filthy mouth with some lather. LATHR.com. Go check it out. And also, text tailgate to 780-307-7779 to enter the draw for 2 tickets, 2 Elks tickets, September 21st, and a tailgate pass exclusively over here at the Elks
You get the
Call.
whole experience with that. Crazy.
You get a game day.
Yeah.
You get a full game day. You BYO food.
Mm-hmm.
Bring your own food. Bring your own beverages. BYOB. Bring your own beverages. And rock some red Solo cups. Familiarize yourself with the rules in the tailgate. But it's a giveaway. And it's also these giveaways here today are courtesy of Len Nunes over at Sherwood Park Crusaders, but it's not from the Crusaders. It's from Len Nunes. And then Neil. Shout out Neil Libel.
Yeah.
Libel?
I have no idea.
Shout out Neil.
Good guy Neil.
Good guy Neil. That's how we know him on the show. It's good guy Neil. He's hooking you guys up today.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the Draisaitl contract? We're getting some Oilers talk here in the herd chat.
Wrong podcast.
No, hey, you're here now. I think Draisaitl's here in town. He's here to stay, and if you get a Draisaitl in your town for that amount of time,
you don't complain.
8 years, he's one of the best in the league.
Yeah, well, I mean, it also comes with a price tag, right? So, but what you gonna do?
We could get into all the contract stuff, but if we're going to talk contract, it's going to be Elks. But real quick, J-Max, yeah, I mean, Draisaitl contract, it's a little bit expensive, but anybody else is going to pay that for Draisaitl.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I love the fact that Draisaitl, he loves Edmonton.
He's an Edmontonian at heart.
I wish he would make an appearance at an Elks game. That would be cool, right? Like Evander Kane did with Sicily.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just saying.
I don't know. I feel like that'd be bad.
Could be.
It could be. Not for bad reasons, but for good reasons. There's too many people.
Yeah. And then we also did have one last ad here in our commercial break. Catherine over here on the right. Yeah. And then, so at Shotgun Sports Network, we're always open for business. With shows and viewership rising, we want to grow with local businesses for our shows and network. This business lives with help from sports fans everywhere. So email admin at shotgunsportsnetwork.ca to see how we can grow together. Shotgun up. No, it doesn't work there. Shotgun on. No, we're gonna have to figure one out for that. But
we gotta make sure that people know that we're talking about beer shotgun and not the other shotgun.
Yeah, no, there's been some rough stuff in the news lately.
Yeah,
we're talking shotgun and pops, beverages, shotgun beverages. Okay.
Bad. Okay.
We do need a beer sponsor. So yeah, I mean, definitely let us know. It's Shotgun Sports. Oh, we're getting attacked. All right, it's time to open it up.
Yeah.
Let's open up the fan forum. Today's fan forum is brought to you by the Rouge, White, and Blue podcast. Americans talking CFL football, Canadian football. Oz and Joe can now be seen on Shotgun Sports Network, bringing their audibles to your screens. Everyone's favorite point, white and blue. The fan forum is officially open. So this is the fan forum where we talk about hot topics surrounding the Edmonton Elks, the CFL, and the sports world as a whole. You know the drill, herd chat. Blow it up, and get your comments and questions onto the show. Just watched the finale of Amazing Race. It finished at our stadium. Yes, it did. Tracy Ham and Eggs, aka Ken. What is up, Ken? In the herd chat. Very, very cool to see you here, and also very, very cool. Kind of cool. See, there you go. He was saying it was cool, as I was saying it was cool. It's cool to see Edmonton highlighted. I really want to catch that episode here. I didn't quite get to watch it last night. I was working on the Pride of Commonwealth. But yeah, I mean, it's really, really cool to see Edmonton highlighted in that way, especially on Amazing Race Canada. Yeah. It's a really big platform, right? And also the whole race finished at Commonwealth Stadium with the 75th logo out there.
Did they have to race up and down those horrible stairs multiple times?
I think they had to
'Cause,
race
man,
down. No, I think they had to race down them.
like,
I did see that Spike had one of the cards in his hand, so there's a
Nice.
Spike, good Spike appearance there.
Seriously, they should have made them do like 3 laps up and down. That'll kill you.
Yeah, yeah, yes. Yeah.
Us going for beers, a couple of times a game is like,
Beverages.
okay, sorry, beverages. It makes us feel it definitely
Oh
by the end
yeah.
of it. We're sore, so we'll have to
Well,
watch that episode for sure.
and it was funny. It was nice to walk up those stairs and high five everybody once again.
Yeah.
Just give everybody high fives. Like, yeah, we got this in the bag. It's just so good. It was so good. It was so good. It's like I said. I think that was one of my favorite games since the 2015 Western Final. And that was magical, 42,000 or whatever. But let's get into our fan forum questions here.
Yeah.
And we do know that we have some questions here in the herd chat. We will bring these up after we get through our 2 questions here. We have quite a bit of time today to do that, which is fantastic. But question number 1 and herd chat. Once again, let us know what you think here. Everybody gets to answer this. Question number 1. The Edmonton Elks have made a change at quarterback, with Trey Ford coming in despite sweeping the Calgary Stampeders with MBT at pivot. So today, 6:30, Chad reported that Jarius Jackson made this decision on his own and that GM G. Simon approved it. Is this the right move? Was this the right thing to do? Catherine, what do you think?
I'm not sure. See, now I'm not sure. You should have asked me that like 3, games ago, and I would have said yes, definitely, right? But MBT is hot right now. He's confident. You always play a hot hand. That's
Yep.
the rule.
We just talked about this.
And I feel like I think it's good. I think it's good. I mean, Trey Ford is definitely a crowd pleaser. I think Trey Ford brings a lot of dynamic plays that, as you mentioned before, perhaps Winnipeg is not expecting. They have a lot of film on MBT, so Trey Ford is a little bit of surprise. They can go back to see, but it's not something that they have a lot of material on. Maybe it can be a really good thing. But another reason why I think it might be good is that we know that MBT can produce if he really needs to.
Yep.
So if now it's kind of the opposite. If Trey Ford has himself a really good first quarter, second quarter, then we can go ahead and put MBT and hope that it will turn around. So I feel like it's, in a way, I'm not sure because of the hot hand comment, but on the other side, you're getting a lot of really positives in there. You're getting somebody that the crowd loves, somebody that the younger crowd loves.
Yep.
We see a lot of university students wearing Trey Ford, stuff. So you're pleasing the crowd, you're pleasing the fans, you're giving a little bit of a surprise element to Winnipeg because they don't have a lot of film. So yeah, it could turn out to be really good.
So, but do you think it's the right move?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, you're saying yes.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes.
I'm gonna say that this disrupts something, and I do like the point that we made earlier, or the hypothetical that maybe this is a film thing. Maybe this is a film thing. Now, Trey Ford, like you said, I liked what you also said. They're dynamic. When he gets his legs involved, he is very tough to manage. He's hard to. It's hard to predict it. It's hard to predict if he's going to be the second or third running back on the field. It's hard to predict if he's going to all of a sudden bomb it down the field for a 50-yard play, because we know he has that in him as well. He is the more dynamic quarterback. Now, do I think it's the right move at this time? Personally, I don't necessarily think it is. I like what Tracy Ham and Eggs said here just a little bit up. I don't think we won because of the quarterback the last few games. I agree with that. Why? Because it's been 3-phase football.
Mhm.
They've been playing a good 3 phases.
Mhm.
Boris Beatty with that comeback performance, right?
Mhm.
Special teams is doing their job. And that's really, I mean,
Mhm.
everybody said that I mailed it in on my observations on the 3 thoughts.
Mhm.
We were celebrating that win. I was celebrating that win. I was not trying to do a big in-depth
Analysis.
I was not doing analysis. Thank you. That was the word. I was not doing a massive analysis on it, but I did see every phase doing their job
Mhm.
and playing, like we said, not necessarily complimentary, but really good football. And there was complimentary drives.
Mhm.
It wasn't the most complimentary, but it was still complimentary enough.
Yeah.
So, MBT, do I think that you should really pull him when he's hot? Not really. Do I maybe think that this is their way of giving Trey Ford the keys so that he can decide if he wants to drive this thing next year?
Right.
That's what
Well,
I think this is more
and I think we've said that before
about.
too, right? I mean, that was one of my concerns that throughout the season, Trey Ford goes along without playing.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the season, he's like, I don't want to be part of this anymore because you didn't give me the chance to play.
Well,
So
they're both done on their contracts at the end of the year.
very much
This is
so.
this
So
is the thing.
it's yeah, I think in many ways we have to keep Trey happy if we want to keep him. And what better way than giving him the chance? But once again, I mean, we do, Steve, I see your comment that's saying that throughout the Esks history, we have seen 2 starting quarterbacks many times, which is what we have.
Yeah.
But at the end, it's what we keep saying. Everybody in this team is playing for their position, right? What's not to say that, MBT continues to perform and we decide to extend his contract by another year?
Yeah.
What's not to say that they see that Trey Ford is performing just as well, and instead of going with MBT, they signed Trey as the starter,
Well,
QB1,
let
right? It's
no,
a fight.
you're right. Now let's ask this question to the herd chat. Does MBT stick around next year knowing he's backup?
No,
No.
no,
No. That's an easy one.
no.
Right? That's extremely easy. Now you're bringing in obviously a backup to Trey Ford.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're MBT in this scenario, what are you doing? You're chasing a ring. If you're MBT in this scenario, you don't care where you go. You know that you were brought in to mentor a guy.
Yeah.
If you magically did 10 times better than Trey Ford, then you were losing your job the following season no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, well, with the Elks, MBT is going to get picked up somewhere. He can get picked up in Hamilton right now. Like he could get traded to so many places. Sorry,
100%.
not picked
Yeah, somebody
up right
will
now.
somebody will pick him up next year for sure.
In the off season, he will get picked up, and he's going to make $500,000 to $600,000.
Yeah.
It's not like these losses this year were specifically on MBT.
No.
But what are we saying here in the herd chat? Right? It's the games aren't necessarily won and lost on the quarterback. There might have been 1 or 2 games that MBT truly was foul in.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's the other phases. It's the other phases that are causing issues. Nice.
Stamps could use a quarterback.
Stamps could use a quarterback.
No. Well, they could. I'm not gonna say I had to. I'm not gonna lie. I had to control myself from saying his last name very wrong during the game. So,
yeah. Bonner's a loser. Yeah. Good chance. Great chance down there in Section X. Just buzzing. Luna, unfortunately, yes, we see you, Sarah. Very thrilled about Luna in the herd chat. We see we have a lot of viewers that have just jumped on. So if you're here for the giveaway, we'll hit it for you here before we move on to our second fan form question. If you're looking for Elks tickets, if you're here for Elks tickets and that tailgate pass, you're going to text tailgate over to 780-307-7779. And we are doing this for our listeners as well because we know we have a great listener base, but they don't always watch live. So we're giving everybody a week. You have a week to get your entries in. Text tailgate to 780-307-7779. Get your name into the draw for 2 tickets and a tailgate pass for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers game on September 21st.
Yes.
Courtesy of Len and Neil. Good guy, Neil.
Good guy, Neil. But yes, we have a couple of comments just on that last question to close it off from Ryan Messer. MBT came within one game of winning a ring 2 years ago. He wants
New
it.
Orleans
He
Breakers.
wants it. He
Yep.
wants a ring. And, you know, if he's a good quarterback, he'll realize that he is still able to get a ring if he takes a little bit of a step back and mentors Trey and, you know, lets him do his thing. So
Yeah, like this season, I personally do not believe MBT will be back with the team next year. So if you're in MBT scenario, what's next?
Yeah.
It's get the ring and leverage the ring to go get more money. That's exactly what MBT is going to do, and I hope he does, and I hope we do. I hope we make it to that.
And he just has to fix his third quarter,
MBT.
which is the problem, according to Ken here in the Herd chat.
Game day,
It's
baby.
MBT's
Shout out, Ken.
third quarter that is the problem. We have seen it. We just talked about it. We didn't even realize, to be honest, that there was a 0-point third quarter again during this game because of the very large lead that we had. But there's something in there.
But see, games past, you're worried about this third.
Yes.
There was zero care in the building for the third quarter.
No.
Like, I personally don't think anybody was truly stressed or worried. Now, it will be interesting. I'd like to see what Trey Ford's third quarter.
Yeah, but then that's the thing. Have we? No, we've seen a full game with Trey Ford as a starter, right? Full game.
Yeah.
I don't remember the third quarter.
I'm gonna bring up the stats here in just a moment because now I'm curious. I want to see in his last start, right? And also Ryan Messer covered MBT when he was with the New Orleans Breakers. So remember, everybody, small world, very small world. But our other major Shotgun Sports member, which would be Ryan Messer down there in Birmingham, Alabama, covering everything Birmingham Stallions, Barons, Bulls, all of the Birmingham sports. So if you ever want to get a little snapshot of what it's like down there in Bama, go check out his show. It's fantastic. He just did a massive media coverage for a racing event as well. So very cool. Okay, let's move on to the second question here in the fan forum. In just one home game, owner Larry Thompson managed to bring back fireworks, inflatable helmet tunnel, and introduced a full lower bowl, Tailgate Central, featuring a Calgary-themed truck for smashing. And that Tailgate Central is also handing out hot dogs. They've brought in a bunch of incentives, the pyrotechnics, all of it. This says that the team has been broke for a very long time. This Edmonton Elks organization has been broke. Do you think the financial woes prior to private ownership hurt the team on the field?
Yes, 100%.
But how would you say? How would you say?
No, here. Well, there's a saying, right? You got to spend money to make money. When you don't have the money to spend, what are you going to do?
But that a lot of those things usually hurt the team, like hurt the organization. We're talking specifically the team on the field. Do you think that those economic woes have gone over to football ops?
Ooh, I don't know. I wouldn't say so. I feel like in many ways there's a separation between football ops and the organization itself, right?
There is, and that's why I'm asking
what the organization itself does and how it brings fans is not the players' problems. They're there to do a job. Their job is to play good football. That's it. It's not their problem. It shouldn't be their problem to worry about the financials of the team and how that is affecting everything else. Like, obviously their one job is to win, and winning brings people. We know that. So they have a part of it, but it shouldn't be on them to feel that stress of the finances taking an impact on that. Right? So I think those are two completely separate areas of the business that shouldn't be meshed together.
Okay, but what if your training equipment is ratty and old and it needs to be replaced? What if you get Guardian caps and you have to wear black because your team is too broke to get the yellow.
Oh, well, I feel at that point there's a difference though, because if you're, regardless of who you are as an owner or who owns the team, the number one priority will always be the player safety. So if there's money to be spent, you will always make sure that your players are well taken care of. That's the way it should be, really. I mean, your players are an investment, right? You take care of your
Yeah.
investments if you want to make sure that the team continues to play. So even if the team is hurting, there are other ways to cut expenses. There are other ways to, stop doing certain things, not be extravagant with inflatable helmets and fireworks and all of that to
Yeah.
make sure that they still have the money to make sure that they're taking care of their players properly.
Okay,
Or
but
you would hope so.
now let's look at some other areas where I think that it's possible that this has affected the team on the turf. And I like what Steve says here. I think it plays on a team's mind playing in front of a 30% full stadium.
Hmm.
I think so, and I think when opponents have been coming to Commonwealth Stadium,
Hmm.
they haven't felt any reason to be concerned. That time count violation, there was a nice time count violation, and the building had erupted. I called it the SSN turning point.
Yeah.
Steve Benassi, we've renamed the TEC turning point. It is now the SSN turning point, Shotgun Sports Network turning point. The turning point of the game was that time count.
Yeah.
For me, I believe in that game. And we'll bring it back to the question, but the reason why is because the building was over half full.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a 30% full stadium. No, we're talking about a building of 32,000 yelling and screaming at Calgary. Horns going hard, all of it. All of it. The building was amazing. But the reason why they got that time count is because of the amount of people. It felt louder when we lost, or sorry, when we won the losing streak, when we finally got over the 22 game home losing streak. It was louder because the smaller amount of people that were there, the 20 to 25,000 that were there in attendance that night, were yelling as much as possible. They were screaming and they were joyous and passionate and whatever. This was louder because of the amount of people. That amount of noise was stuff that you heard 5 years ago with this organization. We haven't heard that kind of noise in 5 years. So yes, I personally think that that's part of it. I do think that that's part of it. But
Well,
now,
I think what Ken says here, what could play on them is, if they're going to be paid. In a way, a lot of that trickles down.
I like that. I like that comment by Ken. That is very true. That's the psychology of it.
Of course, it trickles down,
Yeah.
right? It trickles down. It's an organization, regardless of where you work, right? Think about your workplace. Think about working at a big mall. If there are stressors in the mall and the mall can't make payments or whatever, or a specific, store, and you are the janitor,
Yeah.
there's always a chance that somebody's going to get cut. There's always a chance that somebody's not going to get paid because they can't afford it. So yes, I could see that, the stress of seeing, 2,000, 3,000 people on the stands and being like, oh my God, like where's this team going? Am I going to get paid?
Yeah. And now, like there still could be funds that are cut, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I totally agree with that. Now,
they also have contracts, and in a contract, they're saying that they're going to get paid a certain amount of time.
sure, but
it's-
we've seen in other football leagues that have gone booby up, where they've actually had to go ahead and bankrupt themselves, and they alleviated themselves from all of that. Now, how about this? How about private ownership would have canned Chris Jones last year? The problem is that the organization has been so broke, and this has been a narrative on the Elks Call. Season 1, we've talked about this. CFL operations cap. You have an operations cap. When this team was community owned, they would not go over ever at all.
Right.
It's run completely differently. Larry Thompson came in, and had he come in a year earlier, he may have gotten rid of Chris Jones and paid the fine.
Yeah.
Look at the New York Yankees and their luxury tax, even not just on their salary cap. They always go over the salary cap, and they always pay the luxury tax. I believe we've talked about this once again last season on the Elks Call. So if you're Larry Thompson and you got money, you're gonna get rid of the head coach sooner than later, even if he's GM head coach. Now, would this scenario have worked better last year? I don't think so. I do not think that this scenario works better last year. We might have gotten another win or two.
Yeah.
There's still it still would have been a mess of a season. I don't know if you get rid of Chris Jones at around the same time they got rid of Victor Cui.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, we said it last episode too. Like, thanks, Chris Jones, for the building blocks, right? Because without those, without the work that he had in with the the building blocks and the players that we have, perhaps we wouldn't even be in this position as well, right?
Yeah, hell of a GM.
So
this team is disgustingly good right now. Bynum and Nick Anderson are filling in as backups. Marcus Lewis isn't even out there right now.
Yeah.
We have fantastic guys that are currently sitting on an injured list, and the replacements are almost doing better. Look at Rankin. Almost doing better at times than Kevin Brown. Now that running back corpse is just a three-headed monster right now, and nobody can stop them. And that's a subject of its own. But where I'm going with this is we might have had a better start to the season. Maybe Chris Jones would have been let go in the offseason and private ownership would have paid for the fines. Doesn't matter at that point. Just get this guy out of here and let's start fresh, right? And I do understand that they gave him some more time. At the end of this, Larry Thompson actually did have to sign off on Chris Jones getting let go from the Edmonton Elks.
Right.
But like we said, Chris Jones, the head coach, was the problem. Chris Jones, the GM, did a really good job of building this team. And I'm not going to say really good, but he did a good job. So,
well, he had the pieces. He just didn't know what to do with them.
Yeah, and there's also other reports out there, like I said, that there's some bad practices and
well, he was unwilling to do anything else than what he thinks is best.
Yes, Chris Jones's ego got in his own way, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I'm at on that one. Now let's get into our herd chat questions.
I think we went through all of them except for Jamie's at the beginning.
We got a couple here from John as well.
Oh, we've been through those.
Oh, okay.
Do you think moving forward with the team, do you think they should build a new football stadium like they have in Regina or Winnipeg?
It's funny because stances are always changing on this one. The stances are always changing. Now, I do think that they should renovate and modernize Commonwealth Stadium. The bones are fantastic. Modernize it, but do more than just that window thing.
Yeah.
Do more than what they have out there in the renderings.
Yeah.
I think Commonwealth Stadium, like I don't think you lose it. Should they build like a 30K so then that way you'll always have it full, or a 35K or whatever? No. I prefer not to. I prefer to go back to Commonwealth Stadium.
Yeah.
I think that if you put a fair amount of love, and okay, this is just my opinion, Larry Thompson needs to buy Commonwealth Stadium. We said it last episode. I'm going to say it again. Larry Thompson needs to buy Commonwealth Stadium so that he can control the concession sales, so that he can control everything that happens in there. Because realistically, nothing's happening with the building because the city of Edmonton, once again, has sucked at maintaining Commonwealth Stadium. Oh, and let's quickly hash this out. As per the Edmonton Journal, doing some investigative work on our tweets, they did clarify that the city of Edmonton has not approved the project. They've approved a step of the project, which is basically they're saying the same thing. There's no funding, so we've approved the project to do ongoing maintenance and repairs.
Yeah.
But we have not approved any of the other steps in the project.
Yeah.
I think that that's interesting. But Anyways, getting
Well,
back to it.
it's. I mean, that's a massive project. I can see it. It has to be done in stages, anyways. We all know that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm good with. We heard this in the last episode. Just putting lipstick on a pig for now. You know, fix a few little things that will make it feel a lot more open, a lot brighter. You know, maybe fix some steps, a nice coat of paint.
Stop stop the talking steps. Hashtag stop the talking steps.
Maybe some natural grass, like Steve and Esty on the
Yeah.
chat here.
That
So
would
he
be
says, I like
iconic.
Commonwealth. Maybe natural grass would be nice to have again. That would be. And I think if we had natural grass, it would actually open up the doors for more events as well, like soccer or maybe even other sports,
Yeah.
lacrosse or anything like that, that maybe perhaps require a little bit more of a natural grass than the turf. Because I've heard that. I've heard that there are certain teams that don't like to play.
Yes.
I mean, if
Messi
you're
will not.
Messi,
Yes.
he will not step into anything that is turf, Mr. Diva over there. But
if
I get
we
it.
had, but if we had natural grass and we offered like Whitecaps can come to Commonwealth, and maybe we'll offer up our stadium for a soccer game for Messi. Yeah, I like Daryl Paquette here in the herd chat. Larry, buy Northlands racetrack, build a 40K multi-use stadium. City of Edmonton can't even fix grass and parks.
Yeah, they would never get rid of Northlands. It brings them too much money.
Yeah, no. Well, on the
brings
racetrack, I
them
believe the
way too
racetrack
much
is
money.
where they do the concerts.
Yeah.
So that little chunk of land. I mean, you're right, Daryl. City of Edmonton really, really sucks on a lot of things.
Yeah. But that's, if they end up selling the stadium itself, then we could see something. But I mean, that's also in stages, right? There's no way.
Well, I think though that if you own the football team, and especially because now Larry Thompson does have his foot in the sports and entertainment world,
buy the stadium.
just buy the stadium, dude. Just buy the stadium, or at least buy a partnership, not a partnership, but a share in the stadium. Buy stock in the stadium. Somehow get 50% of that stadium, so you actually have a say and you can actually progress it. Like really, it takes somebody that with a lot of money, Larry Thompson. It takes somebody with a lot of money to actually do something with it. Yeah. And if I'm Larry Thompson, I don't want to put in a bunch of money that I'm not really going to get back.
No, that's going to take, it's going to take the Elks winning the Grey Cup, bringing in the money.
Winning the bid for Grey Cup too, by the way.
Winning the bid.
Winning the bid.
All of that, and then, maybe being profitable instead of the opposite, instead of being in the red year after year, and that will be a conversation that he can have with the city. I don't think it's viable right now. I don't think it's something that it really makes sense. But in the meantime, Commonwealth is such a historical building, right? Who would want to lose that? I think it's a really good location. We talked about this a lot, so I don't want to just keep, hammering the nail on the head.
No, but we do also have some comments. I like Ken's right here. I would build a new stadium at the old city airport.
Yeah.
And
is that the one by Kingsway?
Yes. So why not try to grab a super central spot and something that they're trying to redevelop, because Blatchford is it's a redeveloped area,
Isn't
right?
that only like 5-10 minutes from Commonwealth?
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a huge locational change, because this is something else we also see in pro sports. In pro sports, we see stadiums and arenas move way too far out of their regional jurisdiction. Take a look at the Ottawa Senators. If you're a Senators fan, you have to go drive out a half an hour to go to a game, and then you drive back.
Yeah.
Part of the fun, especially for football games, and here in the city, like here in Canada, we do it weird. Or you go down to the States and you can see like the parking lot space is 10 times bigger than the actual arena. Here, we don't have much for tailgating and parking space, right? Yeah. So we have to depend on LRT. Blatchford is a bit more of a central area. Now, the problem with that is that Blatchford it's the end of the line, sorry. So it has an LRT, but it's the end of the line.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that would be like for people trying to get LRT in and out of there.
That LRT breaks all the time, so it's not.
So, but yeah, no new stadium needs to be anywhere north of downtown. Yeah, that's an opinion, Daryl. I personally wouldn't mind Blatchford. It's a nice big open space. That's the other thing too. How much space, and especially if you want to do tailgating properly, if you want to still do this tailgating idea, and in my opinion, I mean, I think that we should have a lot of parking lot space around it. Charge for the parking lot space. You can make money off of people parking on game day. Now, is that going to be worth the taxes in the year for that amount of land? That's probably the question. Those
Yeah.
taxes are going to be crazy, but maybe you'll get other events in there. Frig, maybe you can bring back the Indies somehow. The Edmonton Indy. Find a way, right?
Yeah.
There's lots of things that you can do in that space in Blatchford, and stadium might be one of them.
Well, and none, to be honest, another reason why I don't want a new stadium being built is because that just means that taxes go up.
Taxes go up. Taxes go
For
up if it's not
everybody
private.
else.
If it's not private.
If it's not, which right now with Commonwealth it isn't, and it might
isn't.
not be for a while.
Well, in the
right?
renovations, who's going to pay for that? We said we'd like to see some federal.
Yeah.
Sorry, not federal, but provincial, anyways, because
Yeah.
province of Alberta hooked up Calgary.
We all know that they're the favorites.
Ridiculous. But yeah, no, it's I prefer Commonwealth. I like Commonwealth. I think that it's majestic. It's got fantastic bones, like we said. It does need some cracks patched. It does need certain things fixed up, right? But you pour some money and you pour some TLC and love into it, and it's once again a world class stadium. It's a 56K. We do not get the events. We do not get Metallica. We do not get Pink. You know, even sometimes shutting down the Upper Bowl, it's a bit of an honor. Why? Because we got a stadium so big that we got two.
Yeah.
Right now for the CFL, it's like two stadiums in one.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
Commonwealth
Personally,
Stadium,
I like it.
I'll die on that hill. I love Commonwealth Stadium. I hope we keep the stadium for another 20 to 40 years. And you know what? On Edmonton Sports Talk, they just talked about it the other day. In order to get the seats closer to the field, they would have to dig down, and because of all the piping that's underneath,
Right. Yeah, it would be a big project.
there's literally like no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. I don't think that we will see the seats get closer unless they somehow figure out a way to dig it down a little bit and to put some seats in. Oh, we're getting a little bit political here in the herd chat, so that might be a good time to call it.
You Edmonton people.
You Edmonton people.
Yeah.
Oh, funny stuff.
We Edmonton people.
We the people. No, and I also do like what Sarah says here. It's in a good location, and it really is. You
It's
have
central. No, with the, I mean, obviously the LRT that's under even Commonwealths. You know,
yeah.
they can't do anything about it. The way that they build the LRT lines, or when they take away parking rights, but that is also a city decision.
That's a city thing.
It's got nothing to do with Commonwealth itself.
And
But
City of Edmonton,
I
Shane.
think that was a really good addition. You know, the LRT station, the stadium. It's easy to get to. It's not so bad. Like, really, people just like to complain way too much about little things. It's just as bad getting to Rogers. It's just as
Yeah.
bad getting to Rexall.
Well, it's
not
funny.
Rexall, sorry. Well, with the
Yeah.
baseball.
Yeah,
Right?
Remax.
Remax.
Field.
There you go. Not
Oh,
Rexall.
Remax Field for the parking on
It's horrible.
certain events.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely horrible. So
You're gonna run into that everywhere.
wherever you go, that's like one of my favorite sayings, is that people will always find something to bitch about.
Always.
So
Hey,
you
and you know what?
find,
That's
you
why
gotta
we
find
have
the
this show, though.
positives.
That's why we have this show, is so
Yeah.
that we can all hash out our differences and opinions here. Daryl here, get that cat of Jersey tailgate 87
I
for life.
I'll get her a little like kids dress, because they have some that I'm pretty sure would fit her.
Yes,
Be
if you're gonna get a dress for your cat, you're gonna go see Christine over at the Edmonton Elks team store. Go say hi to our girl, Christine.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have? I guess that's it in the herd chat. Hey.
What's that?
All right. We're gonna close this fan forum. Closing that fan forum. We're gonna plug this tailgate ticket giveaway one last time. We saw the entries rolling in. We got some entries here. If you want 2 tickets and a tailgate pass, it's a complete Elks package. The Elks are winning. Be there for the biggest game of the season on September 21st versus the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. If you want a tailgate pass and 2 tickets, you're going to text tailgate to 780-307-7779. Once again, that's tailgate 780-307-7779. You, the listener, if you're cruising to work, or you'd probably be there by now, make sure you text it once you're out of the vehicle. Do not text and drive. Don't need to be making any decisions like that. However, make sure you get your entry in, because we will be giving away this pass and tickets in a week. John, okay, let's answer this one last question. Who do you think will perform a concert at the football stadium next year at Commonwealth? It's AC/DC. It's AC/DC.
He's been saying that for 2 years. It's more wishful thinking than anything at this point. But yes, I could see it. If AC/DC does come to Edmonton, it will be at Commonwealth.
Yes, no, AC/DC will be coming, which, by the way, they did play, I believe, on that last tour. They did play in Winnipeg. So the 35K stadiums do get it. They do get those kind of big shows, but I can tell you that they're not going to be anywhere near as big as a Commonwealth show. Ed Sheeran, Coldplay? Oh, maybe that... Coldplay. Hey, is that confirmed there, John? Ed Sheeran and Coldplay?
Are they both playing together?
I don't think so.
What do I know?
Cold Sheeran.
Oh, we'll see.
Ed play. No, okay. That's a good point to shut down the show here. That's all the time we have for today, everybody. We'd like to thank you, the viewer, for tuning into the show tonight, whether you're watching on YouTube, which is Shotgun Sports Network, or Facebook, The Elks Herd, or if you're listening on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Edmonton Sports Talk, or on your favorite podcatcher. Text tailgate to 780-307-7779 to get your entry in for a tailgate pass and 2 Elks tickets to the next game. Other than that, my name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, aka Even Elks.
We are the Elks Herd. This was the Elks Call, and we will see you all on the next episode, hopefully after a Winnipeg win, as in a win against Winnipeg. Elks win. Okay, thanks a lot for joining us, everybody. This is awesome. Cheers.
Bye.
Have a great night.